Now let's go to Arizona, because we had big news out of Arizona here in the past several days as well, and this is pretty stunning that the Brewer administration sent out the trial balloon, and they did it on Friday. And the way you do these things is they got a reporter that they gave everything to. Carrie knows this.
No, you don't do that. That's totally dishonest.
Former press secretary. The Attorney General's office. So what they did, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm assuming this. They got the reporter from the Republic, and they told him this plan that they were considering, and then of course that's out there now, and you see whether it has any legs whatsoever, and then you go from there. And the plan is that our budget in Arizona is so screwed up, and so bad, and so dire that we need to go to a special election this spring to do two things. One, to raise taxes for the next couple of years. What taxes, who knows? Sales tax, income tax, something. That's number one. And number two, just as controversial, to free up the restrictions on spending that are contained in a variety of initiatives that have been passed by the voters over the years. For example, tobacco tax, things like that. We won't spend it for health care for the next few years. We'll spend it for general fund or
Cover
whatever.
our behind.
Yes.
Right.
Now, what are we dealing with here? We're dealing with apparently a $9 billion budget. So if we do nothing new, just do the basics here, you've got $9 billion you got to cover, and we are looking at $6 billion in revenue.
Can we borrow from California?
Yeah, right.
And next year it gets twice as worse.
And then the year after that, worse. The year after that, worse, depending on what happens again with the
Right.
economy. Because we base this whole economy, our whole funding for the state of Arizona on things that are very sensitive to economic conditions here. And so, man, do you think that you would have a conservative governor come into office and within her first 30 days
Float the 1% sales tax increase.
float a tax increase? That's pretty amazing. And what does that tell you? That tells you
Desperate times.
just exactly what I said on the national level is going on here in Arizona just as badly. I think people have got to, and this is the opposite of what they want. Our leaders want people like me to say, but you better take care of yourself here. You better watch your own income, your own spending. You better have some contingency plans here, because this is bad, getting worse, and our leaders are struggling to come up with answers here. It's a pretty amazing situation that we've got, and scary. Again, if you think of a conservative governor proposing a tax increase and a special
Right.
election, how about that?
So
How's
what do you
that
think?
gonna-
How was the buzz? I mean, if they released that on Friday, you got the All-Star game going on this weekend. You have everything else. I mean,
Yeah, it probably will just start getting a life this
Yeah,
week.
it will.
I heard it this
what they're
morning.
basically saying is, do
We
we
have no
believe
choice.
them?
Yes.
So the problem is that bad?
I think the problem is that bad. I don't think there's any question that's that bad. Now you had one of the legislative leaders immediately, try to throw cold water on it. You've got a very conservative legislature, and yet what are they going to do?
Well,
They're going to have to come up with some solutions of their own. No one wants to raise taxes, but they're going to have to come up with some ideas of their own. How are you going to cover this? Now, if they say we're just going to do it all by slashing budgets, well, we can't sacrifice our schools, our
Right.
universities. We've got very little room in here. So it's a huge mess. Let me just go forward to this special election, though. Okay, I hate to be Mr. Doomsday here today, but if we have an election, let's say in April or May on this, you're going to have, first, a very low turnout, because
Nobody's going to show up.
no one shows up in these special elections. The people who do show up are usually very, very conservative. They're going to be, and old people, and those are people who generally don't vote for a tax increase.
Right.
So you're going to have all the naysayers are going to show up. Then you're going to have people from the left show up who passed some of these initiatives, who led the fight on these initiatives for health care, for other things, and they're going to be voting no, because they're going to say, hey, this is my baby, and it's going to be gone. If we give it to you, if we give you a temporary fix here, we'll never see our money again, which there's some degree of truth in that. So you have all the people who are naturally against anything like this showing up to vote no. You have people on the left showing up to vote no. It fails. Then what?
Well, I'm